And now let us discuss the car lane. The car lane is for where God is simply going to do whatever he's going to do with you, and it's going to be scary no matter what you say. The car lane is extreme promotion. The car lane is extreme acceleration. A lot of servants of God, you are going to get the car lane because God is suddenly going to expose you to a whole different level of ministry. Please don't fall in with the gay pastors, okay? Because those guys recruit hard in the US, especially in the South. Please don't think that these decrepit big names in America necessarily mean that you've made it, because a lot of you are angling to get the position, the eye of the wrong people. And I'm amazed that you would be called to ministry and not have an eye for a rotten apple. Where is your discernment? But I digress. The car lane is extreme acceleration, extreme promotion, and the majority of life in the car lane is going to be out of your hands. So let me give you the scripture that the Lord gave me, because I was giving him no rest. I just said, God, trucks, cars. I remember what happened in 2018. God, I'm not standing down. What does this mean? Why did the thing knock me like an 8-ball? Why did it hit me out of the lane that I was going to take and put me into a lane that was clearly outside of my league? Put me with cars, put me with 18-wheelers. Why, Lord? And I was at the sink washing potatoes for dinner, and this is what the Lord gave me. If you have your Bible, you can go with me to Jeremiah chapter 12, and I'm looking at one verse 5. If you have run with the footmen and they have wearied you, then how can you contend with horses? And if in the land of peace in which you trusted, they wearied you, then how will you do in the floodplain of the Jordan? So this is the Lord asking Jeremiah the prophet a question. And the question basically says, Jeremiah, you've been running at a certain level. You know that, and I know that because I've been watching your progress, because I put you there. But if you're only running with footmen, if you're only running with men, and they've worn you out, what are you going to do when you start running with horses? Four steps in the dream: baby, short, long, momentum, and then a lane where no people are running. It's for cars. So it's a completely different level. And I was choosing a lane for people and got knocked, not of my own choice, into the car lane. And God is basically saying, Celestial, you're not running with the people anymore. I'm accelerating this thing now to car speed. So it's exciting in a way because I am totally here and open to whatever the Lord is going to do. And it's taking a lot for me to share something so personal before it even manifests, before the Lord even does it. But he did tell me to share it. And as I've been going through this teaching, I feel so much lightness in me, not because I'm sharing something personal, but because I know that this is the kind of video, my goodness, I know that you guys are going to watch this video multiple times, and you're totally welcome. I know that this is the kind of thing that people will greatly benefit from. And I've done quite a few of them, and people always say, oh, please do more of these. No. This is an end times prophecy channel, and there is a theme here. And the reason I'm here is to make sure that God's heart is happy at the end, not really yours or mine. So God tells him, if you've only been running with men and you're saying that you're tired, then what are you going to do when I accelerate you into racing against horses? And then he says, Jeremiah, in the land of peace in which you trusted, they wearied you. Then how will you do in the floodplain of the Jordan? The floodplain of the Jordan was seasonal. At one point, Joshua and them crossed it. It was sort of like a second mini miracle that was mimicking what happened at the Red Sea with the Israelites and Moses. So God is saying, when the land is at peace and the land is at rest, and you're only required to carry out the daily mechanics of life, work, school run, job, college, paying off your student loans, whatever it is that makes up your life, God is calling this peace. Yes, this nation is already starting to see her troubles like looming storm clouds on the horizons. But America has not been directly attacked by anyone. America is not directly openly at war with anyone, and we still pretty much have a normal life here. In fact, this normal life is what is fooling many Americans into thinking that all is well here. As long as they can still access their services and get Amazon coming to the door, they have lights, they have water, they have gas, expensive gas, but gas is gas. They think everything is fine. God is saying that everything is not fine. He said, in the land of peace, this is your normal life. You trusted in that, and yet you're still saying, I'm weary, I'm tired, it's such a grind. The Lord is saying, what will you do when the Jordan floodplain floods? The floodplain of the Jordan could be at such a low ebb that when the Jordan was not in flood, this is when Naaman came by with his famous leprosy. And when they told him, go and wash in the river, he remarked of the Jordan, that dirty little stream, if I wanted to cure this leprosy, why couldn't you tell me to wash in one of the great rivers in my nation? This tells you that the Jordan could sometimes come to such a low ebb that it was just a muddy little kind of river. And then when the rains had come, that thing would flow, the river would fill up so much that it would overflow its banks and create what is known as a floodplain. When the river is no longer flowing within its channels, but it comes all the way up and begins to flood, flash flood. Sometimes it can be dangerous to those who live next to the river for sustenance. So God is saying that when the land is in peace and you have so many things that you can rely on, we can rely on the banking system, we can rely on the school system, minus the trans agenda in the school system. We can rely on the fact that we have a pretty great transportation system. Planes leave and come back more or less on time, and everything is working like kind of decent clockwork. That is the land of peace. God is saying, how are you going to handle it when the floods appear in this nation? If you say you're tired now, what are you going to do when the Jordan floods? And so this is the dream that the Lord has given me. I've given you the backstory as to why this dream has taken up a lot of my mental real estate in the last almost a week. In the last week, I've been ruminating on this dream. I've been praying on this dream. I've definitely been tabling this dream into a more streamlined fasting process, because I know that God is showing me that a time of extreme movement, extreme acceleration for myself and also for the ministry that the Lord has given me while I'm alive on earth is coming. And I don't want to misgauge it, and I'm sharing it with you so that you will not misgauge what is certainly coming to your life. So it's time to get before the Lord's face. It's time to increase your prayer time to find out what is ahead for you. Some people might easily be able to tell, I'm in this stage, I'm in that stage, I'm still on baby steps. Oh no, I now realize why my life is moving like molasses. I'm in the slow stage. I've been acting like I can't hear God, and God has literally slowed down everything for me. And this is basically a form of chastisement. If you're in the slow stage, it's definitely a kind of rebuke. It's kind of when you take your children out and that one child keeps acting out, keeps making a lot of noise, keeps jumping into the pool dangerously, and then you go, you come here. And the worst punishment is to be called to sit next to your parent with the old people, because what are they doing but talking about the economy and Biden and Trump? Nothing. It's the worst punishment. You can't play, you can't run around. You're in a timeout. You're slowed down compared to the other kids. You're stagnant compared to the other kids. And that's what the long steps are for. So that's usually when you've been disobedient or completely ignoring God or not giving God enough input into your life until he totally takes you out of all the fast lane stuff. The slow lane is when you get fired, sir. The slow lane is when that job, you took it and just wore it like a jersey. And you didn't have time for church anymore, no time for God anymore, no time for Bible study. And God's going to be like, all right, bucko, come sit by me. Job's gone. You don't have anywhere to wake up and wear all those expensive Dubai perfumes to. I am Celestial, and this is the Master's Voice. This is a prophetic revelation end times channel. The content is usually very different, but the Lord wants to speak to his people, and so he had me bring something else tonight. I pray that it will be of use to you. There's a lot of information here. Anything you don't understand, it is a video. It's rewindable as many times as you need. You can pray to the Holy Spirit. He will expand it. He may give you even more to build on what you've heard. But that is it from me. The title of the dream, the title of today's message is The Importance of the Second Dream, the Jesus football dream. That one is a Hall of Famer for me. I will never forget that dream. Even the first one, you can see this. It's a long way away since I had that dream. It's not written down. It's because it's in my memory bank for future reference forever. Jesus dream, the Jesus football dream, was much shorter, and yes, I also didn't read that one properly. Very short dream. It was a very busy highway. It's a multi-lane highway. So we're talking maybe 4 lanes here and 4 lanes here. The kind of highway that we are told every time that crossing it by foot is death. You cannot cross this kind of highway. And I'm on one side, and the knowledge is in my heart. Celestial, cross the highway. You're required to cross the highway. And the cars are not coming at a normal, acceptable speed. Everyone is driving Grand Theft Auto style. It's just pam, pam, pam on both sides. Relentless. There seem to be no traffic lights. There seem to be no brakes, no pauses, no stops. The cars are moving, sometimes tailgating each other so fast that the general perspective of this dream was exactly like these very high octane, active video games where they might say to someone, duck between the cars. And usually that kind of game will start off very slow. The cars are very slow, and then you easily cross. And then they add more cars, you easily cross. But eventually that's when the cars start hitting you because it's too much. So when my dream started, there was no slow cars. There were no 2-3 cars. It was many, many cars going and going, and I could see the gaps. I could see where the gaps were. So I was able to perceive there's a gap there and there's a gap there. I could go there and go there. The problem was the fear. The problem was not just seeing. There's a lot of us who can see what's required, but you know what? It's another level, isn't it? To step out and actually start doing it. It's another level when action is required. And so I'm seeing the gaps, and I can feel cross, step out and cross, step out and cross. And I wasn't able to do it. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, Jesus came like these football guys when they get the ball and they're in the final 40 yards or something. This thing that the Lord did to me, the Lord just came and bundled me up under his arm. And when he did that, he stepped off the highway into the traffic, and I screamed. I screamed because I thought, I'm dead. And the Lord put his head down and began to duck between the cars, duck and dive. I was screaming the whole way. Not going to sit here. I'm talking to the whole internet. So if you're tuned in from wherever, God bless you. And welcome to the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. I screamed. I'm not going to sit here and say, and I was filled with a sense of trust that he would not hurt me. The Lord does things in his own way, in his own timing, in his own method. And many of us have been carried screaming into destiny. And you know it. He was moving. I'm talking about 18-wheelers followed by a camper. The Lord would fit into this tiny space. Screaming, we went. He did not make a sound. He just had his head down like those linebacker guys, and he was moving, carrying me. I screamed from where I was to the other side of the street. And as soon as we got to the other side of the street, he was gone, and I was there breathing so hard. I woke up terrified. And the first thing I said was, please don't do that to me. No idea what exactly it was. Lord, please don't do that to me. I began to pray, Lord, I don't know what that was. I know that that was you. That was terrifying. I could feel the fear in me. And I prayed and prayed and prayed against what I thought was bad, what I thought was not evil. I knew it was the Lord, but the method of the crossing, I began to say, Lord, I'll work on whatever it is that I'm not doing, because mind you, I've had 3 dreams in just a few months that are the same, that are not ending pleasantly. And then I just see the Lord grab me and move me. And again, I misgauged the dream. And long story short, very shortly after that, I was not able to hold on to the accommodation that I had in New York. And then it was a difficulty of, can I stay here for a little while? And can I move here for a little while? And then it looked like I literally felt that perhaps this is not the place. This is not the place that I can remain. And so I took time off with family. And I was out of the city for, I would say, about 40 days, 41 or 42 days. And the whole time that I was out of the city, I was with family and I was seeking God. I sought God. I did not eat any meat. I only ate vegetables. I had the same thing every day for 40 days. No one told me, hey, Celestial, with all this stuff that's going on and everything, do you think you should fast? I can tell you out there who always send me emails and you always act clueless and you act like you don't know what to do. And you may literally feel like you don't know what to do, but I can promise you that when reality comes knocking on your door, as these various prophecies that you have been listening to for maybe a few days, a few weeks, a few months, when these things begin to come reality, no one will tell you how to pray. You will see your mouth opening and all that. I'm so confused. You will know where to go. You will know where to pray. Either because you have the information in your hard drive from years of being a Christian, or because the Holy Spirit will tell you, go to Matthew this and read it, or you're sunk. I've always said, one of the prophecies is that America is going to crumble. When America crumbles, this is before her actual wars and invasions. When this country becomes a declined nation, you will see how the people in Haiti live. People in Haiti, you will watch America live with the same struggles and lack and everything that you have to live with all the time. In America, we're not going to have water being pumped into the house all the time. I've spoken of that. If you do not know the trick of having very strong garbage bags that you can double bag and put it in the toilet so that you can use it that way, especially if you have little kids, then truly, what are you doing? We're not going to have regular electricity. I've said before, I just said it in the Beyonce dream, but I've been saying it for a while. When you hear a nation in decline, your utilities are not going to work. I've said years ago that the trash people are going to be one of the first people to stop working. We're going to have mountains of trash, especially in the cities. It's going to be slumlord like you've never, ever, ever seen. That's going to be true distress. When people don't come to pick up the trash, you're going to have to burn your own trash. You're going to have to dispose of your own trash. You're going to have to minimize the amount of trash that you make. The nation is going to be struggling. I said that the nation is going back to 1933. America is going to have a second Great Depression. There will not be food for everyone. There will definitely hardly be jobs for anyone. I think the prophecy is called Great Depression and Wage Crisis, or Wage Crisis, something like that. I'll try and leave it in the description box. Wait a few days. It takes me time to upload all the prophecies that I refer to because I don't watch the videos for some days. I just leave them. So America is going to change its face. And when we go into decline, if there's no doctor, who's praying for your child when your child gets 104 fever? Who's praying for your husband if your husband gets bitten by something that will crawl out of the mountains of trash? And he's the one who usually shovels this and buries the trash, the bags that you use in the bathroom and things like that. If that man goes down, do you have enough jump in you and lift in you to be able to pray for him until he's back on his feet? Jesus was able to walk into a room and speak to the fever in Peter's mother-in-law, and she woke up. What can you speak to? You can't speak to the rent. You can't speak to them to increase your pay. You've wanted that job. You know you're fit for that job. And you know what's frustrating you? The position stays open. God's keeping that position open for you. The company has had the position open for 12 months, constantly advertising, never happy with anyone else that comes from outside, but you don't have enough lift to jump from the outer maze into that position. And so they keep saying, no one's a good fit. And they're complaining and complaining and complaining. And the good fit is inside the company, coveting the job. You want the job, but you're not willing to fast enough and pray down liquid fire from heaven until they say, you know what? No more external recruiting. We're opening it up, internal only. And then you go and slip in your resume with everybody else and get the job. God's keeping that job open for 16 months. And you can't move heaven enough. You can't speak to heaven enough to make them shut out external recruiting and start looking for the diamond that's right in the company. You're still emailing me and asking me if juices are okay. They're okay. Just fast. Just fast. And so that was the dream. Jesus just grabbing me like, I think it's the quarterback, and just running and getting me across that very challenging time. And shortly after that, the challenging time hit me, and I went out of New York for a while, went down south to family, and just spent time with my face on Jesus. Pumpkin, we're making your favorite. Pumpkin wasn't having any favorites. They were making everything. The bolognese, they were making the everything. And asking, this is not like you, Pumpkin. That's because Pumpkin had priorities. Pumpkin had needs. Pumpkin needed to know from Jesus why the season was so long and when Pumpkin was going to come out, or was she going to end up as pumpkin pie. I sought the Lord with everything in me for 40 days. Corn, green beans, boiled potatoes, salt and pepper. Corn, green beans, beetroot, salt and pepper. Lots of water. Totally immersed in the Bible. Taking walks. Those people have grass and trees down south. Actual grass and trees everywhere. I immersed myself in the Lord. When they say I cried out to the Lord and he answered me out of his holy hill. After exactly 40 days had passed, God did something miraculous, brought me back. And when I came back, my whole life shifted. It was different. It was better. It was more grounded, more rooted. His presence was so much more real, and things changed for me materially. And I thank him for that. So with that background, he told me to start at the beginning. That was the year 2018. I always told you that I would not sit here forever narrating prophecies to you. God has way more other things for me to do. He has way more other things for me to do with these messages, with his truth. And so I always said that one day you wouldn't see me here. And now that I've had a dream like this, absolutely, when you see me here, you see me here, because I know that there's more ahead, that God has other plans. Just like one day I wasn't here, and then one day I am, and then the next day I won't be, because a healthy Christian life is not stagnant. It doesn't form a pool. That's what most of these fake false prophets want. Their dream is simply to have you subscribe and follow them into Armageddon, because that's where they're heading. If you're looking at them making videos, rap videos, dance videos, if you're watching them sing songs to you, if you're watching them just keep giving you the same pieces of bird feed, this is their life. They live to put this camera on and talk to you and rapport with you, and they have no interest in you making heaven. And if you can't tell that by now, you're in so much difficulty. Whoever may be watching this for the first time, watching this is your 500th video with me. If you can't tell who actually cares for your soul and who wants to see you make it, I may never meet some of you, but how awesome to meet you on the other side and you say, you know what, those videos, man, how amazing. How amazing. Those are the people I came to find. You that actually wants to fully fall into Christ. You're not hesitant. You're not trying to get Jesus to, well, prove to me why I should follow you. Imagine telling the most desirable man on earth to explain to you why you should follow him when he's busy saying, come unto me because I'm about to get this thing started. Come and seek shelter under my wings. I am the ark of salvation, and you're out there going, what perks do you offer? Life, breathing. So we've discussed the baby steps, we've discussed the short steps, we've discussed the recalcitrant, those who keep yo-yoing back on sin. God is going to send you back to square one. That's what I said in 2022. Set the captives free prophecy, where I said that I saw the bowling pins were being knocked down. Why? Because they asked for higher positions. You asked for the marriage, and now you're a horrible spouse. You wanted the baby, and now you are a terrible parent. And you know what? You can't send babies back to the store. Now you have to go through the process of preparing while you have the baby, when you should have prepared how to be a parent before you have the baby, by learning what babies need, the amount of time they take. No one can really tell how to be a parent before you're a parent. No one can tell how to be a husband or a wife before you are that. But there are many ways, endless resources, natural ways, reading books, attending seminars, studying things, good videos from good creators on YouTube and things like that. Babysitting your sister's children to learn how to develop your patience, change a diaper, that kind of thing. Those are natural ways. And then there's spiritual ways that you must prepare to be a good parent. You really need to ask Jesus to show you how to do this. Ask him to increase your patience, your grace, how to be a good spouse, unless you just go back to your club trashy ways and make someone's daughter unhappy and make someone's son insecure and angry and feel emasculated. And for what? Because you didn't want to prepare, because you thought that getting married still meant me. No, it's not. It's one of the greatest and most immersive sacrifices you will ever make. The whole point of marriage is going from 1 to 2 to 1, from 1 to 2 to 1. Those are 2 transitions in one, and many people standing at the altar right now are totally ill-prepared to make the sacrifices, to make sure that they are both a value and an asset in